And so, where is truth? Where is this truth? Where is this peace? Where is this freedom? It is to recognize that to not know is the surrender that is required, that is the living answer, that peace, truth, freedom, God, love, life itself cannot be found in the play of things, the play of the world, the moving, changing experience. All seeking in the world of objects, in the world of experience, is futile. It is this turning around to find out who is the one that is seeking. This is where the discovery that the longing is longing for you, not in the way that the mind thinks, but to just turn around and find out who is actually seeking here. It's to find out that there is no seeker in the way that the mind thinks there is. It is just the pull of the self into itself. It is the truth itself just trying to reveal itself. So where is truth? It's right here now. Peace is right here now. Freedom is right here now. And the surrender is to be in the open spaciousness where the answer doesn't make sense. The surrender into not knowing brings you to the openness that is the surrender, the natural surrender. It's not surrender as a doing. It's not someone that is surrendering. There's no effort required. It is the letting go of all effort, the letting go of trying, the letting go of seeking and searching in the world of things, to discover that when you stop, let go, everything that is sought for is right here. And that is where we might say that it is searching for you. It is longing for you. Because the magnetic pull that creates a longing that gets misinterpreted as a desire for things is only ever the simplicity of truth wanting to reveal itself, is only the simplicity of the light of God shining here now. And to let go of seeking, to surrender the me and the search, to surrender the acquired knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, to just being here, to not knowing, not understanding, not wanting. To turn around and find the source of it all, To find the source of it all is to find everything that is sought for. What is being looked for is not a thing, so it cannot be found in the world of things, cannot be found in the world of experience that comes and goes. It is a spontaneous revealing of the great clarity of who you have always been. That you already are everything that is longed for. You already are everything that is sought after. That fulfillment is already here. And it is in the letting go of all efforting, all attempting to acquire, achieve, to learn, to understand, all that acquired spiritual knowledge. It's to let go of it right now in this moment and just be here. Just be here, just as you are. Peace is here. Peace is here in the surrender of all seeking. Freedom is here in the surrender of seeking for it. It is this utter relaxation of the me and mine, the doer and the chooser, the enjoyer, the one that wants, the one that needs, the one that thinks they know. But of course, that one cannot surrender. That one cannot let go. So it is only in the coming to this moment here now, being here now, feeling the simplicity of your own existence, just being, feeling yourself here now, that you are here, and the feeling of your very own presence is so simple, so open, so clear. It is not attached to anything. It does not have a story, does not have a name, does not have an agenda. The feeling of yourself just being here, just is, just is. So we come to the being, the simplicity of being. The profundity of presence is beyond the mind's understanding. It's not someone being present. It is to come to the presence and realize that presence itself, that feels like your own presence, but presence itself is not attached to anything. Feel that right now. Confirm it in your direct experience. That presence is not attached to the body, to the mind, to the story. The presence itself is completely neutral and open and free. Presence itself is everywhere, unbounded. It is not at a particular location. And yet it is at no distance from the feeling of yourself. Because this is the self that you have always been. Before the first thought, before name and story, before the first thought carries the mind into creating a whole world that revolves around me. The world is just here. It is empty. It is open. To come to the presence is to come to the stillness that just is. Simplicity, silence. We do not ever assume to know anything. It is the humility to not know, the humility to let go of pride, to let go of the me and mine, and just be here, to just be here, without needing anything, without wanting anything. And so then not following any of the thoughts that come and go. Because the habit to follow the thoughts is so quick that it creates the identification. The habit to follow the thoughts then immediately turns into a believing. And without realizing what's going on, there is a believing of the thoughts, believing of the story, believing of the play of the world, believing in something that is not real, not in the way the mind thinks it is. And it is that habit that allows us to overlook and miss the most precious and important discovery that is here now. A moment of surrender is a moment of clarity, a moment of letting go, a moment of surrender. Brings a dawning where the innermost being can whisper the clear seeing to itself, this is who I am, this is the truth, this is emptiness, this is freedom. It doesn't have to be an understanding of the mind, because the mind cannot get what is being pointed to. It is the mind that obscures the clear seeing. So as these words come, it is not to try, it is not to create instruction, it's just to be here, so innocent and open. Cannot do surrender, you cannot do innocent and open, you can just be here. And as you are being here, feel the relaxation and softening. Let the mind relax into the heart, just through softening, softening and softening. Without knowing how, without understanding, just to receive the resonance of the words as they come. There is a recognition of what is being pointed to. The recognition comes in the resonance. It is an alignment with the resonance of being, just simply being. The being itself, simply being itself. To recognize there is a stillness, an unmoving presence that is just here. It is not touched by the play of the world. It is not touched or affected or disturbed in any way by thoughts, by the story. Come to this presence. Come to this presence and confirm that this presence is not touched by anything. Just be here. Just be here as an offering. There's nothing that can be done. But when you are here as an offering, you are turned. You are turned to the stillness. You are turned to the being. Just through being the being. You do not have to move around. Turn your head. You are not looking outside. You are not looking inside. Not in the way the mind understands. But you are turning to the innermost being through just being. You are turning to the innermost being by just being here, feeling the presence, feeling the sense of your very own presence, recognizing that it has no story, has no name, that this presence is emptiness. This presence is emptiness. Cannot find the presence at any particular point. The presence is unbounded, is infinite. It is the presence of being that is silent and still. And it is discovered to be here when there is a stopping of the engine that runs so busily, following the thoughts and the beliefs, moving in the world as if it is real, constantly trying to win the game of life without knowing what life truly is. Life is freedom, moving unencumbered by the mind. Life is without condition. Life is the truth of who you are. You are life itself, flowing and flowing, just as love without condition is flowing and flowing, shining and shining. Your true nature is right here. It is so beautiful, so bright, so brilliant, so clear, so free. You cannot find it in the play of the world. So it is to recognize that all seeking in the world for freedom is a waste of time. It is to give up time, to give up space, and just be here now. Be here now in the timeless being. Now, now, now. Only ever now. Be here now. Be so fully here now that there's nothing else here but your very own self. All of those tendrils that go out into the world, attachments. It's to pull them into this moment and just be here. Be the freedom that is being sought. Be the peace that is longed for. Be the true one that you have been searching for. Be that true one right here now. So as these words come, we empty the mind of all of that dross. We empty the mind of all that it thinks is important. Not through doing, but by highlighting what is true, highlighting truth. So when we ask the question, where is truth? You can feel that truth is right here now. But you cannot grasp truth. You cannot grab hold of it and put it in your pocket. Truth is the presence of now that is so alive that it is awake to itself through being itself, knowing itself right here now. To be here now is to open to the flow of grace, carrying you into this remembering. To be here now is to be available for grace, to carry you into divine remembering. The frustration for the mind is that you cannot create the perfect situation. You cannot do anything. The frustration itself that the mind has to experience is the invitation to surrender, to see from clarity that there's nothing that the me can do. To just be here stripped of all the beliefs about who you are as a me, everything that is mine, that belongs to me, all of my knowledge, all of my life experience, all of my hopes and dreams and desires, to just let it all go. To long for freedom more than you long for all of those things. To feel the longing so fully, because to feel the longing so fully is to come to the presence entirely, so as to be consumed by the longing, to be devoured by the grace that can carry you into clear seeing. Be consumed by the longing, to realize that there is no one that is longing, that longing itself is the shining promise of fulfillment. Longing itself is already the shining promise of fulfillment. Not if you turn it into a desire and you try to fulfill it with things. Of course, that will lead to constant disappointment. Perhaps you can see from clarity how obvious it is that if you try to find fulfillment in things, that it will only lead to disappointment, because things are temporary, things are transient, things are not the truth. Only the truth will do. But it is to rest here as an offering and to be so clear that only the truth will do. Nothing less than the truth will do. Do not be satisfied with moods and flighty spiritual experiences that can feel oh so lovely in the moment. Do not be satisfied. Do not be fooled. Be so committed and sincere that only truth will do. And truth is a knowing that does not come and go. Truth is a clarity that is ever shining. The truth of who you are does not leave. This is why it is freedom. It is freedom from the perpetual comings and goings of the mind. And it is right here now. Right here now. Right here now, as a vast, infinite field of timeless being. We cannot even say that it wants you. It is you. You are it. You are already one with everything that is longed for. It is just to feel the resonance of alignment. When you feel the resonance of alignment, you fall into the vastness of divine remembering. It's like the frozen, contracted sense of being a me just suddenly melts, and you find that you are one with the ocean, and you have always been one with the ocean, that you are flowing as pure consciousness, remembering yourself, knowing yourself, feeling the glory of being yourself. Melting into the field of infinite being. Dissolving, unraveling all of the knots, all of the tightness. We could say the knots and the tightness, the contraction starts to relax. And as there is a relaxation, what you can be sure of is that all of this light and love and truth and glory is just rushing into every single crack, every single space that it can find. Every single relaxed atom of your being is being saturated with the glory of God, the glory of your true nature. So it is to receive the gorgeousness of what is happening without understanding. Wouldn't the mind love to understand? Wouldn't the mind love to get it? But that is not how it works. And this is the humbling. This is the humbling for the mind, for the me. This is the surrender, the submission into something that cannot be known by the mind. But there is a quality of knowing here. The knowing is your longing. The knowing is your sense that creates the seeking and the questing. What are you looking for? What are you truly longing for? Do not answer with the mind. Be the living answer. What are you longing for? Feel the aliveness. What are you longing for? Feel the presence of being here now. What are you longing for? Feel the ache, the pull, the magnetic, energetic of the flow of grace pulling you into the river. What are you longing for? Do not follow the mind's answers that are just about desire. Even if the words that come are truth, grace, God, love, underneath the word that comes, feel the energetic resonance of what you are longing for. Can you honestly say that what you are longing for is not already here? Can you know that? Can you know that without using the mind to create some kind of explanation? You cannot. You cannot. And the mind does not know. The glory is that what you are longing for is right here. And this invitation is an invitation to join the dots. One dot being the longing, the other dot being God, the glory. But there are not two here. There are not two here. Seems like two because the longing seems to be for something. But when you release the longing being for something and you be here now with the fullness of the longing, you discover that what you are longing for, you already are. You already are what you are longing for. Do not follow the mind that says, well, I don't know that. How can I be sure? Do not follow the mind. You see, these are the tests. It is the humility to not follow the mind. But watch the mind. This is the glory. You already are the aware being. And the aware being can be aware of the mind, can be aware of the mind and everything that the mind interprets about this longing. Just be the awareness. So you see, we are following the mind's ideas back to the source. If we follow the mind's ideas, we find ourselves in the maze going round and around and around. When you just feel the longing without the interpretation, you find yourself as the presence. You find yourself as the aliveness of the longing. If you do not try to label what the longing is for, the feeling of the longing starts to open and reveal that fulfillment is here, that peace is here, that God is here. Of course, the mind could say, well, I don't know that. Wherever there are concepts, so where there is a concept about what God is, what peace is, what love is, that concept will act as a buffer that will keep you in the play of the mind. It is to be open to a possibility of receiving yourself in a way that is not familiar. You cannot land in a conclusion. You can only be the living open question, the living open longing. And it's in the living openness that there is a quality of surrender that naturally happens, that reveals that fulfillment is here, that the answer is already here. That when you allow the question to be completely open, you discover in the openness that you are the living answer. You are the living answer. In the stillness, in the silence, in the stop, just be here. To be here so fully. Let go of questing, let go of seeking, let go of the habit of being the seeker that needs to find something. Because all ideas that there is something to find have to dissolve into being the finding, being the holy finding. The holy finding is the discovery that you already are everything that is sought for. And when you feel this truth, when the innermost being recognizes its own presence, feel the infinite open spaciousness of being. That there is nothing to want, there is nothing to desire or need, there is nothing to interpret or evaluate, because you already are. You already are. Here now, the timeless being, the presence that just is. You are the awareness that is aware of all that is moving and changing. You are aware of the mind, the thoughts, the coming and going. You are aware of the story that moves and changes. You are aware of the body, the sensations, the feelings. And you are aware of being here. When awareness comes to the awareness of just being here, everything opens. Awareness, aware of itself just being. Aware of being the being. Simply being. The aware being is aware of all that comes and goes, but is not coming and going, is not moving and changing. You are the stillness, the wholeness, the richness, the glory of the silence that just is. To so fully be the stop that is this moment, the full stop that is this moment. Emptiness, equanimity, openness. Be the stop. Be the stop. The silence, the stillness, the simplicity. There's nothing that needs to be known. The being itself, knows only itself, and it is everything. To feel yourself just being here, being the silent being, the receiving of this is a clear resonance that is recognizable not by the mind, but by the being itself. Mm. The eyes can be open or closed. It's of benefit to go between open and closed. When the eyes are open, do not grasp outwards. Do not look at anything. Do not try to hear anything. Allow the senses to be withdrawn. Be absorbed in the being and just allow the visual landscape to be received. Let the gaze be very broad with a soft focus. Let go of hearing and just be the open listening. Let all of the senses collapse into awareness. Do not grasp outwards. Let it all come to you. Let everything just come to you. Be the receiver, the receiving, the openness, the field. You do not need any information because knowing is here, and the knowing of being is the pure knowledge that is the knowledge of the self knowing itself. Just resting, just resting. And as these words come, it is just to receive the resonance. Just to receive the resonance. And the receiving of the resonance is where you can feel an alignment, an attunement, a yes, a recognition that is not of the mind. And as soon as there is an attunement with the resonance of being, just be the resonant attunement of the being, knowing itself. There is an aliveness, an awakeness, a clarity. The feeling of yourself is everywhere. It is nowhere. It is openness. It is vastness. The feeling of yourself being the being is clear seeing from the infinite field, seeing from everywhere, seeing the one that you thought you were, and recognizing that you are free of the story. In this moment, you have no story, you have no past, you have no future imaginings, you have nothing but yourself. Great glory, great glory. You are the freedom of the open field. You are the freedom that is the presence of being, present to itself, just knowing itself. Remembering the true nature, remembering what is true, coming out of the amnesia, the misunderstanding of being a separate single point that is divided from the whole. The remembering of who you truly are, the remembering of yourself being here just as you are. Breaking the spell, breaking the hypnosis, breaking the spell of the worldly grind in the maze of the mind, breaking the spell of the illusion. Seeing clearly, seeing with fresh eyes, recognizing that who is looking is the eye of the infinite field, Not seeing from a singular point, but seeing from everywhere. Seeing itself, knowing itself. You are that self, seeing itself, knowing itself at every point of this infinite vast field of being. Not differentiating, just knowing that you are so vast, so vast. You have no edges, you are not contained, there are no boundaries, there are no definitions. You are everywhere, you are openness, you are not explainable. But you know yourself. The knowing of yourself is the only knowing that is here, and it is clear and open and free. There is peace that cannot be disturbed. There is happiness that is without cause, a joy, a delight in this moment that has no cause, because it just is, because you just are. Freedom itself is effervescently joyful, just simply in the knowing of itself, celebrating itself, jubilantly celebrating itself. Love, love that is without condition, love that is pure and true and is always here flowing without condition. It is love itself that is moving as you're longing, inviting you to turn into the longing so deeply that you recognize that the longing for love cannot be fulfilled in the external, that the longing for love is to turn into the longing and find that you are the love that has been sought, that you are the love that has been sought. You are the love without condition. You are life without condition. You are the freedom of life living itself. How beautiful you are. How rich and whole and perfect you are. How brilliant and bright and immaculate you are. Shining being, shining, shining, shining being. Silent presence, silent presence. Just being here. Being the stop that ends the seeking, the searching, the willingness to not know, just for this moment, to know nothing, to be nothing, to give it all up to the now, in utter devotion to now, to be in utter devotion to now, to give it all up, to give it all up to love, to now, to God, to freedom, to give it all up, to not know what that means, to not know how, but just to feel the glory of the surrender. Surrender has to just happen. You cannot be the surrenderer. It is to surrender the surrenderer into a pure surrender, a divine surrender, just letting go, letting go of it all. Just now, in this moment, just for this moment, be yourself. Give it a try. Give it a try. You can always come back and collect your story. It'll be waiting here for you. Of that you can be sure. It will be waiting here for you. Of that you can be very sure. But just for this moment, give it up. Give it all up. Let it all go. Be yourself. Be utterly free. Melt, melt the frozen contraction. Melt, melt in the warmth of unconditioned love, this vast field that is so warm and bright and brilliant. Just melt, melt into the not knowing, into the vastness, into the ocean, and be carried, carried by the flow of grace, deep, deep, deep into the innermost being, to the innermost being, deep, deep into the still, silent depths of pure, simple knowing that there is only the being, and you are that being. You are that being right now, right now. Fall in, fall in. Melting, melting, melting into the vast ocean of grace, the vast, blissful ocean of grace, where there is only one, and you have left the surface of life behind. We are deep now in the vast open landscape of consciousness. Who are you now? Who are you now? Where are you now? Let the answer be the living emptiness. Let the answer be the living, shining glory of your true nature, whispering, whispering the silent truth. This is who you are. This is freedom. This is life, unconditioned, boundless freedom. This is the peace that cannot be disturbed. And this peace is you. This infinity is you. This flow of grace is you.